Hi, welcome to another episode of The Profit Builder. Today we're going to talk about how do you not waste time in interviewing in person people who are not really a right fit for your company. Everybody's super busy these days, and it's difficult enough to find people. And when you do find somebody, you want to make sure that before you invest your time and energy, that they're really the right person. And one of the recommendations I have is that before you ever interview someone in person, that you do a preliminary screening with them by phone. And there are certain key questions that you want to be asking that are really going to help you make sure that you know if that candidate's a right fit or not. And I'm going to share with you my list of questions that I recommend that you ask before you ever meet with somebody in person. So these are my by phone interview questions. So one of them is, why are you leaving your current job? Or why did you leave it? This will really tell you something about a person. You're going to listen for things like, are they whining or complaining about their last boss? Did they get fired? Were they let go in the last 2 months? When things are super busy in the industry as they are now, when you're talking with somebody and they just got let go of a job, you can be assured that they probably were not skilled at the job that they were doing. So I would ask more questions. Who did you report to? This is an important question if you have somebody who they reported to the owner, but they've never had the major responsibility of a bigger projects, like the size of projects that you've done. So understanding the size of company of the person that they worked for can make all the difference in the world as to whether or not they really have the depth of experience that you need. How many direct reports did you have? That's a really important question. If this person's never managed people, that could be a problem, because you want to at least know, if they've never managed someone, you want to know that that's going to require some training on your part. And if it's a key part of the role, you may not decide to interview them in person. How many employees in the company, or what was the company's volume? That can make a really big difference as to whether or not they could actually manage projects the size of your company. If they're running the finance department, have they had to manage the finances of a company your size or larger? That's really key when you get to be looking at senior management positions. Tell me a bit about your previous job. Just find out more, like let them talk a little bit. What are their major responsibilities? Who did they interface with daily? What was their interaction with management? It kind of gives you a sense of, do they really have the level of experience, and what's the experience they're coming from, and how different is it from my environment or my culture? What tools do you use for managing time? If you're dealing with anybody who's in a management position, that's a critical question to ask. Time management is an important element of working, especially in construction, when you're all about on time, on budget as promised. And also if you're responsible for, the finances of a company, or estimating and being able to complete an estimate on time, those are important elements. What experience do you have in negotiating, if that's applicable to that position? And then what did you like about this type of work? This is just going to give you a sense of that person and who they are. So these kind of questions are really helpful for you to start to ask in just the initial phone conversation. You're going to get a sense of whether or not that person's really a right fit. And that will eliminate you spending time interviewing people in person where you go, that was just a complete waste of time. So I highly encourage you to do that. I set these conversations up with people where I'll say, you know what, I just want to do a quick phone conversation with you. We're just going to spend 10 minutes, and I just want to kind of find out if it's a right fit. And if it is, we will schedule a longer interview. So whether you're doing it on Zoom or you're doing it in person, the actual interview itself for the position, you can just make that distinction with somebody that, we're just going to take a little bit of time. I just want to understand a little bit more about you before we schedule a formal interview. So I hope you found this is helpful. If you have questions about it, make sure to go ahead and leave me a comment below, or you're welcome to email me as well. I hope you found this week's video to be helpful. My passion in life is helping contractors build more sustainably successful businesses, increase their profitability, reclaim their time, and find more joy in what they do again. So if you found this video helpful, would you just share it with a friend? Thanks. I look forward to seeing you next time on The Profit Builder.